Welcome, everyone. We are delighted to invite you into our room today for our NJBIA Business Growth Roundtable, a new positioning for us. And let me hand it to the fabulous Kate Conroy to tell you a little bit about what's going on at NJBIA.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the New Jersey Business and Industry Association's Business Growth Roundtable. We at NJBIA are thrilled to have helped in the creation of this amazing group led by such amazing women. For those of you who are new to NJBIA, we are the largest statewide business association in the nation, representing about 1/4 of all New Jersey employees. And we offer customer development opportunities, visibility through events, magazine ads, or our podcast and TV shows, and money-saving discounts on stuff you're probably already paying for, like payroll, healthcare, a 401k solution, and 24/7 HR support. I am Kate Conroy, and if you're interested in more info on us, I'll drop the website into the chat along with my contact info. Feel free to be in touch and we can get you whatever you need. And with that, I will now turn it over to the inimitable Vicki Hart.
You are so kind, so kind. Hello, everyone. I am Vicki Hart, Director of Client Engagement at Paradigm Marketing and Design. We are an award-winning strategic agency, and we specialize in working with businesses with a complex sale, and we make sales teams more effective and efficient. How do we do it? Through websites as marketing tools, strategy to drive conversions, and workflow to create efficiencies. Now, how did we become this amazing juggernaut? Well, let me tell you, we did it with starting with the principles of Sandler. And that leads into our first sponsor. Cal Thomas is absolutely amazing. And if you have not had the opportunity to meet with him, I absolutely encourage you. Paradigm is a Sandler shop, and I can't say enough about Sandler. Going through the process of Sandler, and I believe Donna is a Sandler grad also, and it took our close rate from 30% to 70%. And I recently did a refresher at the kickoff of 2022, and holy cow, it was amazing. It's an investment that you make in your business and your success. So if you haven't had the opportunity, I can't encourage you enough. Please reach out to Cal Thomas. One conversation can change the trajectory of your business. And I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Kim Luthi, Director of Wealth Planning at Synthesis Wealth. I have known Kim for years. She is truly the definition of a grit gal. And for those of you who know her, know exactly what I'm talking about. She is a client advocate and helps her clients with their financial health. Kim and I were recently talking, and she shared a very cool story with me that I thought was very impactful. She had a client who implemented a disability income policy when the client was in her early 20s. I mean, that is totally forward thinking. In my early 20s, I was not thinking about a disability policy. When her client was 37, she delivered her first child, and there were complications. She was on disability for 2.5 years. The monthly funds from that policy allowed her to continue to pay her bills and prepare for her future and the future of her children. And if it weren't for that policy, she would never be able to fulfill those promises to her family. Kim has helped so many women and their families prepare to be successful on their life journey. And if you're not thinking about this, you might want to be. So I cannot encourage you enough. Please reach out to Kim as you're thinking about your future. Kim, it's always worth a conversation. Now, I'd like to also talk to you a little bit about our speaker for next month. Back by popular demand, Dr. Terry Wu will be joining us once again. If you were able to join us the last time Terry spoke, he was speaking about why people buy. And this time he's going to speak about why the brain follows and the neuroscience behind leadership. Like the first event, it's a live only event. So that means if you can't make it, it won't be recorded. So this is an event you are not going to want to miss. So please join us. We'll drop the link in the chat also. So Donna, without further ado, I'm passing the baton back to you.
Excellente. Thank you, ladies. So I am Donna Miller, Chief Visionary Officer at C3 Workplace and founder of Donna Miller Business Growth Consulting. Between my two companies, we have literally helped thousands of companies to start and grow over the last 20 plus years. And as a business growth consultant, what I do is I work with B2B professional and creative service firm owners, helping them to build companies that run without them involved in the day-to-day. Are those angels you hear? Yes, they are. I did it for myself. I love doing it for other people as well. And so build a company that runs without you and it becomes a bit of an annuity. And I know Carl will talk about this as well. So I'm thrilled to be here. A little bit of housekeeping before I introduce Carl and bring him to the stage. We are recording this session, so if you have to pop out for a minute or something, you will get the recording after the event. I will drop the link for the Terry Wu event in the chat window when Carl gets going so that you can click on it and grab your seat. As Vicki said, it's a live only event. I want to encourage all of you, this is the new hybrid world. Use that chat window to introduce yourself to your fellow participants. The people who are here, share your values of being a student for life. We're always looking to get better at what we do. Well, don't you want to do business with people who want to get better at what they do? Great place to network. Drop your name in the chat window. And we have an amazing segment. First time ever. Carl offered it. We jumped on it. And Carl is willing to take your challenge and fix it in 5 minutes. That's a bold statement. So if you are interested in coming to the stage for Fix It in 5, which will happen at about 12:45, 12:50, shoot me a message in the chat window and I will tee up someone for that segment. I've also emailed some of you, so feel free to chime in here and message me directly via this Zoom chat. So, y'all ready?
Woo, woo.
Buckle in, it's gonna go fast. All right, Carl Gould is a worldwide leading authority on business and entrepreneurship. He is a keynote speaker, as you will see momentarily. He is a speaker. He is a best-selling author. His company, 7 Stage Advisors, helps organizations grow to the next level. He's an entrepreneur who built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses by age 40. Okay, now he's just showing off. And I came to know Carl from my position as a board member on the Morris County Chamber of Commerce. Carl facilitated a strategy session for the entire board. That's a big accomplishment in and of itself. But he was so able to completely zero in on the issue. And I'm sure, and I imagine that that's a cornerstone of how he's been able to help thousands and thousands of companies to grow. So join me in welcoming the one, the only, Carl Gould from 7 Stage Advisors and Carl Gould Enterprises. Yay! Good, Carl? All right, we're gonna hand the stage to you, and we will be in the chat window. Holler if you need anything.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much. That was so nice to. That was so nice. I really do appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining. I am going to share my screen. And do you see a little slide that says spring on it by chance, Donna?
No, Carl, we are seeing your fabulous logo. So you'll want to swap screens.
My fabulous logo.
Zoom is fun.
Okay, let's try this again. We're going to draw over other apps. We don't want to draw over other apps.
Now I see your fabulous face.
My fabulous face. And then all right, we're going to, as we mentioned on our pregame warm-up, we might have to, okay, so it says share my screen. Start recording. It keeps doing that. I'm not sure why, guys. But I'm going to try one more time. All right, we're gonna get going. All right, so our topic today is hypergrowth. So first of all, thank you for such a nice nice presentation. No pressure, Carl. No pressure. I'm not sure whose bio she read, but I'll try to live up to that bio. But thank you. So we live in interesting times. As you all know, when I started my business in 1985. I started a home improvement business in the middle of a real estate recession. Not only were was real estate down, but mortgage interest rates, if you remember, a 30-year rate was between 12% if you got a good one to 18% if you were like all of us mere mortals at the time. And so during that time, I learned that's how I cut my teeth in business. But then I went through 1987. Then I went through that recession. Then 2001, 2008. But nothing as compared to what we've gone through now. Now, what is very interesting about where we're at right now is this is one of the greatest opportunities for growth you will probably experience in your lifetime or in your career. We are in the middle. We're on the tail end. We're 2/3 of the way through, thank God, of a season of business we call winter. All right, the winter season of business, which started in 2005 and is anticipated to go through 2029. Yes, that's right. What we're going through right now is going to continue for another 6 or 7 years, right? And you might be saying, well, wait a minute, Carl, I looked out the window, it's like 9,000 degrees outside with 100% humidity. How can we be in winter? Well, I'm going to walk you through what this dynamic is and how it works. Because we go through the 4 seasons of business every 80 years or so. This most recent season, 4 seasons, what they call a seculum, started in 1929, and we are in the next winter. The baby boomers were born through 1946 to 64. Remember that? That's spring. 65 to 85, that was summer. 85 through 2005 was the fall. That was the harvest, when all things worked. Everybody had money. Everybody had a job. You couldn't do anything wrong in business. But then we entered winter. Winter happens every 80 years, like it or not. This dynamic has gone on for the last 500 years. This is nothing new. All right. There are a few things about winter we need to know. Number one, the economy and our lives, our society will be very volatile. I think we're seeing that. All the unrest, the transformation on college campuses, we get interesting leaders during volatile times. Think of our last president. Love him, hate him, but my goodness, was he different? Okay, and has spawned other unorthodox leaders. Look at the Prime Minister of Great Britain. We have these times when we are transforming. Now, there's another thing that we should know about winter that's very, very important. There are 2 corrections in the economy each and every winter for the last 500 years. Our first correction, you might remember, was the great downturn of 2008, 2009, right? The mortgage meltdown, okay? That was our first. The second one is typically larger and comes later on in the winter season. I think we are on the cusp of that, all right? No matter how many CARES Acts or TARP programs or mortgage bailouts that you can put in place, all they do is extend the time frame, but at some point it's got to correct. And at the end of every winter, the excess equity and credit and debt needs to be flushed out of the system. All right, so let me bring it down to earth for you. 2008, residential mortgage meltdown. 2025 through 2022 through 29, what are we going to see? We're going to see a commercial real estate correction. We're seeing it already to some degree. Okay, retail is changing. So there's still some more to come out. Now you might say, wow, that's pretty motivational. Donna, back to you. It's now yours, right? Therein lies the opportunity. Because winter is a beautiful time. Winter is a beautiful time to recalibrate, understand where you're at, revisit yourself as a company, revisit your clients and the relationship that you have created with them. And it's time to redefine the relationship with your client, because that will lead to hypergrowth. Now, COVID, where does that fit in? Well, every 80 years or so, for the last 500 years, there has been a world conflict. Think about it. What was 80 years ago? World War II. My mother-in-law is turning 90 in next month, few weeks, and we'll see her soon. We haven't seen her in a while. And we asked her, She was a young girl in Germany during World War II when Germany was being bombed and they were hiding out the Allied soldiers in their house. All right. So we asked her, Oma, we call her, German for grandmother. Oma, what do you think of this pandemic? And she didn't even blink. She's like, well, at least we have food. We didn't have food back then. Right? In other words, she was saying, okay, this is hard, but we can get through. We've seen worse, right? And we've seen worse in a variety of forms. No difference here. But what happens each and every recession or downturn is here is where you have an opportunity to gain market share, to grow your business. 2/3 of the Fortune 500 companies were started in a recession. 2/3. It's one of the best times to start, relaunch, and redefine your business. Okay. And so we find ourselves in the same place. Now, I'm here to tell you that no matter what you read in the paper, no matter what you see online, no matter what newscast you see, COVID, my friends, is over. And actually, it's been over for a while. Okay. I'm not talking about the virus. The virus is still there. Be careful. Use all the mitigation measures, follow all the protocols. The virus is still out there, will be with us for a number of years. Some people that I know in the industry are saying, don't be surprised if we have to mask up around flu season over the next couple years. They've been doing it in Asia forever, right? So a few executives I know in the health industry said, listen, we study the health systems of other countries. In Asia, they mask up every flu season, not just COVID. So don't be surprised if that comes back in intermittent spells, all right? But COVID, as it relates to consumer preferences, as it relates to your business, as it relates to the relationship with your clients, is long gone. It's long gone. All right. Now, what did COVID do for your business or to your business? Here's what it did. Two main things. One is it magnified the flaw in your business model. And every business has it. There's no perfect business, right? Some businesses actually benefited from COVID. Some were impacted greatly by COVID, right? Second thing it does is it magnifies your leadership style. Your leadership style. Well, hey, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is it put stress, pressure, good or bad, on every relationship you had. And so if the relationships grew during that time, absolutely, it magnified your leadership or lack of. Now, if you're on this call, you're not only on a path to leadership, you are probably a fan of it. You're a student of learning. So you likely took the time to work on yourself, work with others, build more team and community. So I'm preaching to the converted here on that one. But what it did was it sure did magnify it. All right. I was having a conversation with, it wasn't much of a conversation, I'll be quite honest, but one of my favorite restaurants, I live up in Jefferson, one of my favorite restaurants closed during COVID, right? And they have this huge parking lot. It's one of our favorite places, but they had takeout. Once they reopened, they had takeout. Boy, oh yes, Jen. Well, I'm not gonna say the name, but I'll definitely give it away when I explain. So I pull in and I got my avocado egg rolls to die for, please, everyone. And so the owner comes out, hands me the bag, and I lit into him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, COVID this and COVID that. I said, dude, are you a victim or are you a victor? What are we talking about here? I said, you have this huge parking lot. He said, well, the state shut me down. I said, no, the state told you can't have people inside. You can put 50 cars in your parking lot. You ever hear of a drive-in restaurant? It's how they all used to be. I said, put a DJ underneath the awning over there, have people come in the car. You could build a sense of community. You could be serving people left and right. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? You hear that cricket in the background? Yeah, crickets. He was like, at first, and that's when it hit him. He's like, holy cow. The state didn't shut down my business. They just told me I couldn't have any internal occupants. Yeah, right. So guess what? This parking lot is half filled with people who want to come and patronize your restaurant, all right? But you are not giving us the opportunity to be your customer. All right, now I'm going to pick on restaurants a little bit because in the sake of time, it's just an easy one for all of us. How many of you, get ready in the chat, get your keyboard, warm up your hands for keyboard mania in a second. How many, just type in a number, how many of your favorite restaurants contact you on a regular basis during COVID, asking you what meals you want, what days you wanted them, and how they can help serve your family during this time? Go. 0 is a number. 1. All right, I see 1, 0. Okay. All right. Keep going if you care to put a number in there. So that's what I mean. It magnifies the flaw in your business model, magnifies the flaw in your leadership style. Okay, because this was the time. Exactly. How many of you have a number? Okay, so I'm seeing 0s and 1s, and I know this group. This group, we eat out a lot. Most of you on this call will eat out at probably 50 different restaurants in a year, and the numbers coming through are 0, 1. You know, I think if someone puts in a 2, you might get a prize, right? And so, in other words, they just laid down during this time, and some of them didn't have a choice. I get that, right? I owned a business where they indoor recreation facility, and they shut it down. I get it. So what did we do? We opened up the window. We called it an outdoor facility, and we kept going until we got told to shut down. Right? But you got to keep going, right? Okay. And so what we need to do now is we need to overcome those challenges. Okay. So now let me talk about how we do that. First off, we need to before we can redefine the relationship, we need to work on us a little bit. Now, the reason why I said COVID is over, because the consumer preferences that you got in the beginning, that the requests that you thought were temporary, they're not temporary. If you if you were asked to do curbside delivery, if you were asked to do Zoom and online meetings instead of in person, if you were asked to come early before their office hours started, or come late, or on the weekends, that was not just a temporary request. You know, your clients might be trying to just be a little gracious here, but the reality is they don't want you in their office. They don't want you there, or they're uncertain about the safety of it. Okay, all right. We're going, so there are whatever requests you were getting, 24-hour access, unscheduled appointments, getting on a wait list for products and services, pre-ordering, putting down a deposit to skip the line and move quicker. We had a contractor who called me up one day and said, "I'm not sure what to do. I've got people throwing money at me to see if they could skip the line." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you're not going to believe it." And he was taking that as a bad thing. And I said, "What did you do about it?" He goes, "Well, I'm telling them no." I said, "We're not telling them no anymore. You have another business people are asking you for, and you're not responding to it. So guess what? These people aren't going to wait for you forever. They're leaving." Oh, now we got it. "Yeah, but I feel funny. Some people already gave me a deposit and they're in the production schedule." That's fine. Keep them there. I'm not saying to knock somebody out, but you have people who are telling you they want expedited service. You have a business here. Your clients are telling you they want that. Now, you don't have to do it, but you are walking away from people who are willing to pay you 20, 30, and even 50% premium for expedited service. I don't know what business you want to be in. The business where they pay you $1 for your service or products, or a business where they pay you $1.50 for the same product or service. You just have to show up a little early. I know what business I want to be in. So this is your opportunity to redefine your customer relationship, because if you don't, your competitors are going to. Okay, so I learned a new type of shopping. It's fun, it's enjoyable, It's kind of a redo of an old name, right? Now, as a kid, my mother was the queen of garage sales. As a matter of fact, she held such epic garage sales in Riverdale, New Jersey, that they actually changed their laws around garage sales in Riverdale, New Jersey, thanks to Nancy Gould. Because she was holding such epic garage sales, the other stores were complaining. Now you need a permit. You can only do a certain amount a year, right? The whole bit, right? That's right. That's right. Mom was a trailblazer. Okay. But now we don't call them garage sales anymore. I don't know why. Now we call it, wait for it, thrifting. We go thrifting now. Thrifting has become its own industry. My two daughters are going out shopping. I'm like, oh, where are you going? And they said, oh, we're going to Plato's Closet. I said, oh, okay, well, what's that? I haven't heard of that one. And she said, it's a thrifting store, right? It is big time hip right now. And she comes back with Converse and other brand names. And I was like, oof, man, she cleared out her savings on that one. Dad, $60 and a bag full of stuff. Well, guess what? People during COVID were screaming for the secondary market. Retailers were saying, oh, we're closed. We can't allow people in, all this. Rather than wheeling their stuff out into the parking lot and saying, come get it, thrifters were like, well, listen, we're not waiting because the customers aren't waiting. There was a customer satisfaction survey done some time ago where they asked consumers, how many of you that are happy and satisfied with your current provider would leave that provider for another company that served your clients better? All right, get your keyboard hands ready. Okay, we're going numbers again, so you can stay on the right-hand side, but you're, all right, right-hand side, get ready, type in the get ready. What percentage of happy and satisfied customers, your happy and satisfied customers, would be willing to leave you, go to a competitor if they felt they would serve their needs better? Ready? And go. What percentage on a scale of 0 to 100? What would you guess? What would you guess? Typing, 80. Angela, all right. 100%. Ooh, all right. This is a tough crowd. Okay, good. Donna, 80. Keep going. 95. This isn't Jeopardy where you go the higher the number you win. All of them, 100%. All right, take it down a little bit. Go down a notch. Anyone else want to offer a guess? It's 40. 40% of your clientele would be willing to go to that are happy and satisfied. The upset ones, they'd leave tomorrow. Okay, they would leave tomorrow. All right, 100% of your upset ones would, but your happy and satisfied clients would, 40% of them would leave in a heartbeat. Now you could say, ooh, that's a little, we can rail against the cancel culture and all the things that are bad about society. Or you can realize that 40% of your competitors' customers are up for grabs right now. 40% of your competitors' customers are up for grabs right now. Question is, what are you going to do to go get them? Okay, so I just got done telling you, people want off-peak service. People want to be able to skip the line. People want VIP access. All right, so we need to build more offerings to meet consumer demand. All right, now why is somebody going to all of a sudden want to switch to you? Why would they care about you? Two reasons. Before today, you were going to say authenticity. Very good. All right, but first thing we're going to do is we're going to revisit the why of your business. Okay, Simon Sinek wrote a great book, and there's a lot out there. Start with why. What is the why or the purpose of your business? Okay, now so why gets their attention. Here's what's going to keep them. Here's how you win in your business, and that is on the how. On the how. Okay, now we could sit here and say, oh, well, I love businesses that have a cause, right? But you've never not gotten into an Uber or a Lyft car because you don't agree with their why. We think Uber is the coolest thing since sliced bread because of the how. How do they get you a ride? They revolutionized it. They took a series of already existing technology, right? Taxi dispatch software, Google Maps, and a rating system, and a payment portal. and they put all 4 of those on an app and gave it to you, the customer, so you can become your own taxi company. And they sent it to the driver so they could be a freelancer or a gig economist, right? They're winning on the how. As a matter of fact, the company Lyft was a number of Uber executives who just didn't like the why of the company. Now, I don't know if you know what the why of Lyft is either, okay? But you'll win on the how, all right? And so what does that mean for you? So first step you need to take in your business is to productize what it is you do. So I have a methodology called the 7 stages of business success. It's a growth methodology that people buy and follow when you want to grow your business, right? I've got my growth graph. I've got my discovery tools, right? I have packaged and productized what I do. What is it you do? How is it you do a market analysis? How is it that you if you're an esthetician, cut somebody's hair? What is your system, your method, your model? You all have one. We just need to repackage it and we need to rename it. Because people like to buy something tangible, especially during times of economic downturn or volatility. What is your growth advisory called? Is it G period, R period, O period, W period, T period, H period? Growth TM Consulting. G stands for go get 'em. R is, oh, I don't know. Oh, I got myself into this one. All right, I'll get myself out. All right. So are we going to do that? What is your model? If you're not sure, if you're like, I think I hear what you're saying, Carl, but I'm not getting it fully. Watch the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton in it, about the story of Ray Kroc and McDonald's. If you're on this call and you have not watched that movie yet, you have to go back, watch it right away. Netflix it, Amazon Prime it, you name it, stream it, it's there. It is fascinating. But the thing that Ray Kroc, who had an amazing vision for McDonald's were 2 brothers in California. It was an amazing movie. But what happened was Ray Kroc went to McDonald's, the restaurant, because he was a shake blender salesman, met with the McDonald's brothers, and they showed him their how. Their how was how they took a 30-minute burger order and transformed it to 30 seconds. And in the movie, you could see the light, the gleam in Ray Kroc's eyes when the McDonald's brothers said, "We call it the Speedy system." Right? The next scene, Michael Keaton comes home to his wife and says, "I don't know how it's going to happen, but I got to be involved with that company." They have a revolutionary way of servicing their customers. Their how was revolutionary, right? So that's what he didn't fall in love with the McDonald's name. Is McDonald's a good name for a restaurant? I don't know, but they made it into one. Burger King is probably a better name for a burger store than McDonald's, but McDonald's clearly is a more superior company in many facets, right? And so it might not be the perfect name, but they win on the how. So let me circle back, because my ESP tells me some of you might be thinking that I'm downplaying the why. Wait a minute, Carl. The why is really important. So the why of your business is hugely important, especially as it relates to acquiring talent and your pricing strategy. Because in many cases, people will pay more for your why than they will pay for the utility of your product or service. Don't believe me? Look at your wrist. How many of you have a Rolex on it? There's a great article. It's fantastic about how watches are made. And the main reason expensive watches are more expensive is not because of all the parts. It's because of how it's made, right? And so basically the parts are similar in price, but how it's made reflects, you know, handcrafting and all that. And so if you take away automation and make it really slow, you can charge a lot more, right? But let's go back to the why. Why does Rolex do so well, right? They have a relationship with their clientele that's phenomenal, and they communicate through their why. You know, the iPhone is built in the same factory as a Samsung. They're built by the same people, comes out of the same place. But Apple has a stronger why. My favorite example is a company called 4ocean.com. All right, check them out. The number 4, then the word ocean.com. And so one day I'm out with my daughter, and we go, we're at one of these boardwalk shops, and we bought this bracelet. Okay. Now you should all be on your keyboard saying, "Oh, isn't that nice? Great bracelet. Doesn't she have amazing taste?" I'll try one more time. Here we go. Very nice, right? Love that bracelet. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't say submit. You can go ahead and hit submit now. All right. Then anyway, so we go and we buy the bracelet. This bracelet, $5. $5. Right next to it is the, oh, thank you, Donna. I'll take it. Okay. All right. Well, I asked for it. Hit me with it. Great. So this bracelet cost $5. Right next to it was 4ocean.com. And they explain that if you buy one of their recycled plastic bracelets, they will clean 1 pound of trash off of our beaches and our oceans. The cost of their bracelet, $20. Now, this bracelet, as attractive as it is, and what great taste my daughter has about 3 or 4 times the materials that the 4Ocean bracelet has, but yet it's 5 times the price. So think about this for a moment. 4Ocean has a bracelet, charged $20. It costs $1 to make it. Same dollar it took to make this bracelet. Okay, but I know 4Ocean's story. I don't know this person's story. They seemed really nice. They made it by hand. I don't know their story. But they were selling theirs for $5, and on the same table they were selling 4Ocean bracelets for $20. Okay, so think about that for a moment. And so the bracelet itself is $1. If you were to hire a laborer to clean 1 pound of trash off of a beach, how long would that take? An hour? Say $5? Now we're up to $6 on a $20 bracelet. So what is the consumer world paying more for? The cause or the actual utility of the bracelet? They're paying $14 for the cause, $6 for the bracelet. Huh. Now you say, well, Carl, that's just a bracelet. That's come on, we need a better example than that. Oh yeah? How many of you have upgraded your flights on a plane? When you go first class, did they put you on a different plane? No, you just get a different seat on that plane. But they've sold you on some intangibles like, oh, I get to board first. Oh, great. I do get a bigger seat and I get a meal. Okay, fair enough. But is that worth double the price? Are you paying for utility for that? So during these times right now, your customers have been screaming out loud for what they want. Okay. Most of what they want were how type of things. But in your business, let's revisit the how and the why. Okay. And I'll give you 3 talking points to call your clients and find out exactly what they would, to find out exactly what they want. Call all of your clients and you're going to share with them 3 talking points: your preparedness plan, your priority plan, and your pre-order plan. Okay. So you're calling just as a friend, you're just checking in, and you want to say, I'm just calling because I want to be prepared for you. We value you. I want to make sure I know what's important to you, what's going on in your world, because with the with the supply chain challenges, with inflation, with prices rising. I want to know where you stand, what you need right now, so I can be there and our company can be there for you. And listen to them, right? And then they'll say, oh gosh, I don't know what the future holds. I have no idea what's about to happen, right? But say, wait a minute, take me through your next 12 months, month by month. Oh my God, Jen, I can't even think into tomorrow. You want me to go month by month? Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking. What will July look like for you? Like seriously, what do you have already in the books? What's likely to happen? What is there seasonality that will impact your July? Now take me through August. Now take me through September. Now take me through October. And if you get them to talk month by month, you now know that they're buying into this line of conversation and you can now help them. All right. Then say, and they'll say, well, all right, well, why is it so important you know my next 12 months? Because I want to find out if you have something that's going on that's time sensitive or that is a high priority for you, so that I can be ready and I can go to bat for you with my vendors, with my suppliers, with my boss, whomever I need to fight with in order to make sure that you're on my priority list. I want to find out what's on your priority list because it's going to go on my priority list. And I want to know that now, because if you need something that has a long delay, I want to know about that. And I want to make sure that I'm getting, you on the list or the wait list for that. Now, what we have found has happened with all the companies we've done this with during COVID, the last item on your agenda, which is pre-order, interestingly enough, your client is the one that initiates that conversation. And they'll say, well, yeah, I have a really important project or event or launch or whatever in October. Are you saying that supply chain issues could impact all the way to October? Your answer is yes, absolutely. We have a feeling that the supply chain is going to take at least a year to clean itself up and get back to the 90-day standard that it was once on. Oh my gosh, a year? Yeah. So tell me about this October launch event, product, or project. Well, I don't care what's going on in the world. We have to have, and they'll list it, X, Y, and Z for October. That leads to the last point. Well, if that's the case, why don't we pre-order it now? I'll even stage it in my facility if I have to, or we'll do just in time or whatever. I'll do whatever it needs to happen to accommodate you, but let me know what it is now. Maybe we want to pre-order that or part of that order so you're ready, okay? Because here's one of the big challenges we all have in business right now. The absolute worst thing that can happen to you with your client's relationship is that if you can't deliver. All right. Now we all went through the pandemic, but this Saturday night, if you go to your favorite steakhouse and you order a steak and they don't have it, what are you going to think? Oh, times are tough and it's hard to get clients. And so I understand you don't have steak in your steakhouse on Saturday night. I understand. Is that going to be your thought process? Or are you going to be like, oh, you must be joking. Seriously? Saturday night, steakhouse, you have no steak? Right? I have a feeling it's going to be more of that, the latter. And so what your customers think you are doing right now, I mean, besides being on this call, is they think that you are strategizing and figuring out how to be ready to meet the demand when it comes. So in other words, if you run a steakhouse, they are thinking that.
Carl, you muted yourself. There you go.
I think I cut out there. Yeah. Sorry. And I'm back. And so what your clients are thinking is that you are figuring out right now how to have steak in your steakhouse on Saturday night, no matter how busy it gets. And consumers have been cooped up. They have cabin fever, right? They've been stuck inside and for 2 years and haven't been able to travel. I mentioned I'm going to see my mother-in-law. I haven't seen our the British side of our family in almost 3 years. So if we were to get to England next month and they say, oh, we changed our mind, we're not prepared to take you through customs, like, what? Right? People are cooped up, they're pent up, they want to spend. And that's what's driving the inflation, right? House prices keep going up, people keep buying. Now I get it, there's a little bit of a correction down. Fuel has come down a little bit, but you should expect it to be at high levels because people have lives to lead. They're going to keep spending. We are a consumer economy. It's not stopping. They're either going to you or they're going to someone else. Now, one thing, and we'll wrap up on this point, Donna, is, this past 2 years as a coach, and the main thing we do is we work with companies to grow, but essentially we're working with the CEO, right? This has been probably the most intense time of my professional career because we have been talking to CEOs for the last 2 years every day, every single day, right? Thousands of CEOs every year. So we have a good idea of have our finger on the pulse of what's going on. And for the most part, most CEOs are tired. Like, whoa, COVID was a heavy lift. And this happens every 80 years. This is not like just now. But times like this really tire out your competitors. They are tired. They might not be up for this. Okay, well, now the gates are open. After that 2-year sprint we did going through COVID to try to even stay open. Now you want me to have the energy to grow? A lot of your competitors don't have that energy right now, and they're tired. This presents a real opportunity for your business. So we've talked about a number of things here. There are many, many ways to grow, but winter is an amazing time because it thins the herd. If you're committed, if you address the flaws in your business model, take the opportunities in your leadership style, you will leapfrog over your competitors. Donna?
Awesome. Thank you, Carl. So, I picked up, as I always do, so many pearls of wisdom from what you were talking about. And a lot of my colleagues, we're kind of thinking about, there's this pending, some will say we're already in the recession. We're coming out of COVID, we're moving into a recession, and we're all tired. It has been a heavy lift, but I have this small group of friends and we kind of mastermind together. And my feeling is always that in any situation, the opportunity is in how you position yourself, or perhaps your target market shifts a little bit. Maybe you used to work with growing companies and now you work with downsizing companies. So I think no matter what is going on in the business world, there is always an opportunity for hypergrowth. I firmly believe it. And I think that we're all kind of moving from that survival mode into thriving and growth. And I think that those of us who came out of COVID okay, and we refined our leadership skills, I think that's a big part of it, is kind of growing the people underneath you so that you can get more done in the same 24 hours as everyone else. And I love some of I like to refer to them as simple but not necessarily obvious ideas, whether it's thrifting versus garage sales, or taking a restaurant parking lot and turning it into a drive-in. I mean, we saw drive-in movie theaters pop up because people just had to get out of the darn house. So it was better to be in their car next to other people. So really great ideas. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Carl has offered this amazing segment. I think it's bold. Fix it in 5. So I have Amanda. I'm going to bring Amanda up to the stage. And when you all registered for this event, you listed kind of what your biggest challenge was. And I want you to know the themes that we're seeing are always growth and getting new customers. And we shifted this from the sales and marketing roundtable to business growth because sales and marketing is part of business growth. And I think it's important to look at the entire situation. So most of you are looking to grow your book of business, find new clients. The other big conversation, I don't know if anyone will have time for a second, the other big conversation that we're hearing, and if we don't have time for a conversation, Carl, maybe we can do a little Q&A on it because you just wrote a blog. We're all having a hard time hiring people. So it's growth and it's hiring people, and of course they're intrinsically linked. So Amanda Vinat, did I get that right? I'm going to promote you to a panelist. You can leave your video off if you would like. So let's let Amanda come onto the stage. There she is, looking fabulous. Go ahead and unmute. There you are. Unmute yourself, Amanda.
Hi.
So Amanda, tell Carl and our audience a little bit about what you do and what your challenge is so that Carl can fix it in 5.
Awesome. Thanks, Donna. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Vinat from George Keller & Sons Roofing and Siding. I am proudly one of the very few female sales professionals in the construction space here in Northern New Jersey. And my challenge is actually not on the lead generation side. Fortunately, I have a very good stream of customers coming in, both from referrals on my side, but the company also generates leads. But my challenge is on the conversion. So as a 100% commissioned salesperson, obviously converting those leads to sales is really important. And things are really tough in the construction space right now. And I would say I often am up against 4 to 5 different contractors that are trying to sell the same job and the same product to the same customer. So my question to you, Carl, given your background with a construction company that caught my attention, how would you recommend somebody like myself who works for a really great company with great brand recognition differentiate myself against other competitors?
Awesome. Love that question. Okay, Donna, hit the timer. Okay. And so Amanda, first thing I'd like you to do is check out one of our clients. They're in New Braunfels, Texas, which is right outside of right outside of San Antonio. She's called the Roofer Chick. That's the name of her company, the Roofer Chick, female-owned, woman-owned construction company. And she has her own female crews as well. All right. But everybody, man or woman, is a roofer chick, and they all love it. And so she has done a great job of differentiating herself there. And as a result, she has higher prices. Okay. And so that's one way to go. So number one is the first thing I would do is I would start a premium packaging. I know this, I did this in my construction company as well. You'll guarantee these 5 things: start date, finish date, no contractor driven change orders. Okay. And what's your guarantee right now?
What do you mean guarantee?
Your service, say again, your guarantee again?
What do you mean the guarantee? I'm sorry. What do you mean by the guarantee?
If you did the roofing job on my house, what would you say is your guarantee? How do you stand behind it?
Oh, like the workmanship warranty is 10 years standard.
Okay. How often do people, so I would change it to a lifetime guarantee, as long as you're the only one who ever works on, services, maintains that roof. So what will that do? Number one, that will differentiate yourself because no one else is giving that. Number two, what you're doing is you're opening up another revenue line of cleaning, maintaining, right? So in other words, nobody puts a satellite dish on that roof without you. Nobody puts Santa Claus. No one ties Santa Claus to the top without you. You are the one that either, if you want to, does the gutter cleaning or the servicing each year. Whatever touches that roof, because you gave a lifetime unlimited guarantee, you now own. Right. Okay. So one, you'll differentiate through your offer. Number two, what's the name of your company?
George Keller and Sons.
George Keller and Sons. Okay. And so who runs and owns the company now?
Dan Keller, one of the sons.
Okay, one of the sons. Okay. So are you a woman or minority owned business in any way?
No.
Okay. He may want to go after that designation as well. Not only will it open up other opportunities, but it will also be attractive to, if you're doing, so you guys do commercial and residential, but if in the residential field, what it might do also is open it up to people who want to support minority or women-owned businesses. So I would start looking for the differentiations in certification, differentiation in offerings, and this unlimited warranty will come with anywhere from a 10 to 35% upcharge. And oh, by the way, let people know that by taking on the premium package, they can skip the line and get expedited service. Okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but those
Thank
will
you.
get you started. Those will make a big difference right away.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl.
Can I just say that was 3.5 minutes? Good, Amanda? Now, and the truth is, Amanda, even though she works for a company, because she is commission only, as far as I'm concerned, she's a business owner. So
Right.
Amanda, and I know Amanda thinks like a business owner. So that's really great. We can either, I don't know, we don't quite have time for one more Fix It in 5. So Vicki, I'm going to hand it to you for a little Q&A, and I'm hoping that we can interject a little bit about this challenge many of us are having in hiring people.
Well, Carl, that was eye-opening, and wow, what you can do in 5 minutes or 3.5, amazing. So everyone, as you walk through your business, make sure you remember Carl and what he can do in 5 minutes. This is very impressive. But we had so many questions that came in when people were talking about you know, when they registered and they were asking questions. And one of them was about, how do I hire? I mean, this is with the economy and all the factors that are playing into what's happening right now. Do you have any advice in hypergrowth? Because hypergrowth without hiring is really hard. What would you recommend, Carl?
Well, first off, you need non-monetary reasons for someone to want to work for you. Okay. And so now, that was a really nice way of saying business might be boring. And so no one wants to work for a boring business. It needs to be inspiring and compelling. And what do employees want? They want flexible schedule. Okay. If you, I know you all on this call do training, stop doing training. No more training. We're going to productize your training and turn it into certification. Promise your new employees that they are going to get marketable skills so they can increase their compensation, number one, or number two, you will help.
It always freezes when the secret to life itself
I was like, I still wanted to hear the next word. Carl,
we're hanging on, Carl, we're hanging on.
I mean, the fact that it's certification versus training, that's like amazing. Carl, you froze after certification versus training.
Okay, sorry, I'll take my video off for just this last minute.
Sure.
Right. So no more certification. You need to tell your employees that you are going to give them the marketable skills to either advance in your company or get their jobs else in the future after they're certified. Okay, I think you're
bouncing in and out again, Carl.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back. You're in and out.
So sorry,
That's okay.
We did say he was in Jefferson, Donna, which is the epicenter of alien abductions in New Jersey.
Oh,
you said you would behave. Yes, we can hear you now, Carl.
All right. Sorry. So sorry, guys.
Okay.
Technology is failing me a little bit here. So what I was saying is you need to help them build their marketable skills through certification, and don't just give them training. And I would work on the how and the why, because employees want to work for cause-based marketing right now.
I agree.
Companies.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if I'm a business owner right now, I'm looking to outsource or offshore every possible position I can, because it's the only way you're going to be able to afford your higher price talent.
Yeah. I noticed I went into Kohl's the other day, and the majority of the staff that was working there had a marked Italian accent. And I thought, they are crowdsourcing their employees somehow, either bringing them in or going to organizations. But clearly they came up with some strategy to recruit specifically.
Yeah. If you go to resorts like in Colorado during the winter time, there's a huge South African and South American workforce because they work at the resorts in their home country half the year. They come to America for the other half of the year.
Right. Okay. Well, it's 1 o'clock, and this hour flies by every month. So, Carl, you're amazing. Thank you. I got so many great points that I can turn into action items, because those of you who know me know I always say knowledge is not power, applied knowledge is power. So I want to encourage each of you to decide on the 1 or 2 things that you picked up today that you will put into action to create hypergrowth. You will receive a follow-up email from the Paradigm Marketing team highlighting all of us, our sponsors, Cal Thomas, Kim Luthi, Carl Gould, thank you very much. And I just dropped the link into the chat window to register for next month's event. Terry Wu is amazing. Those of you who were on the first neuroscience call, this guy's had a PhD for 33 years in neuroscience. Who knew? It's amazing. So thank you all. Have a great day and apply what you've learned to create your hypergrowth results. Carl, thank you.
My pleasure. I'm glad you guys got value. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Carl.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.